Hello, and welcome to the Pink Sofa Hour. I'm here, joined today by Sour Magic. How are you guys?
Oh, doing good. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks
So,
for having us.
thank you for being here. What a pleasure. You guys have recently been putting out some music, and you're getting ready to do a big album release.
That's right, yeah.
Yep.
That's the big news of the day.
Yeah, it's coming out on June 16th, and we're just getting all of our masters in right now. We're still waiting on 2 masters, but we got time.
Nice. How many tracks is it going to be?
8.
I think you're right.
8.
Yeah, 8.
A
Kind of a short album, but we recorded all of it almost over a year ago, and it's sort of it feels kind of like a timestamp, and we kind of want to get that out. It's the 8 we had mostly before Kyle joined, honestly, our singer. He was around for kind of finishing up the last couple songs, but a lot of them we started without him. So it's kind of gonna mark a shift from sort of us finding ourselves as a band to being more developed and all working together on every song.
I see. So let's back it up a little bit because I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves first?
Well, I'm Mauro. I play guitar.
And you sing.
I do backing vocals sometimes.
And lead vocals sometimes.
That's true, I sing in one song.
I play bass, and I do all kinds of other silly little things.
He runs our social media account.
And what is your name?
Oh, Drew. Yeah, that's important, huh?
So we've got Drew and Morrow, and you guys have 3 other members currently in the band.
Yes.
Kyle was the most recent to join?
Yeah, Kyle's our singer. He joined just a little over a year ago. Once we had been a band already since the fall or so, and then he joined in the spring.
So you guys have been together for about 2 years now, or
I think a year and a half.
Okay.
I joined November of 2021, is that right?
That sounds right.
No.
So where did you guys meet? How did you decide to start a band together? Were you in other projects, just in a scene?
No, just kidding. We all kind of just met online. I saw a post on Facebook. I joined a musicians in Denver group. I saw a post on Facebook about them looking for a guitar player. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm looking for a band. I met them at your old place. And it was Jay, Johnny, and Drew, and we just jammed. We hit it up. It was cool. It was nice. It was fun. And then we kind of crafted some songs that we had with no vocals, and we were trying different people that we met online as well. And we sent the instrumental to Indigo to Kyle, and he just sent us back the song with his current vocals on it. We re-recorded the audio for the actual track, but yeah, I mean, he wrote that song as what's it called,
Like a tryout?
Yeah, like a tryout, and we loved it. We were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, we tried out a few singers, but he was the first person where I think when we went home and we were thinking about it, it was kind of caught in my head a little bit. His hook on Indigo, I was thinking about it at home, and same with our song Fenrir's Folly, which we'll hopefully show you today. And yeah, and it was stuck in my head, and I was like, oh, this is a great sign.
So Indigo is one of the tunes that's coming out on the LP that you guys are releasing?
So Indigo was our first single. Has a video out. I think we released that maybe June of last year or July.
So we released it the same day that we played Sykes Peak last year. It was
It
was whatever day Sykes Peak was last July.
Nice. By the way, I have to comment on the glasses. Those are very on brand for...
Thank you. Yeah, they're perfect.
Sofa.
These are just my glasses that I always wear, and I just thought it was perfect for this too, huh?
It works. Yeah, I have quite a collection of pink sunglasses actually,
oh, cool.
as you might imagine. So Kyle was the most recent to join, but he's been in the band for about a year.
Yep.
Who are the other members?
Yeah, so Jay plays drums. Me and him, I think technically started the band. I made a little demo tape. It was 9 minutes of me. I programmed the drums. I played a bunch of extra percussion, a little bit of strings, and then mostly showcasing bass. I just posted that little demo on a Facebook group, and Jay found me and asked me to come jam. And I was listening to King Gizzard in the car when I pulled up, and he was like,
man.
He was like, this is perfect. We're gonna get along.
I'm not gonna start pointing to the King Gizzard in this room, but King Gizzard is in the room with us.
Yeah,
right now.
I have a weird memory for these things. I was listening to Zeta by King Gizzard when I pulled up, and he was like, "This is like a great sign," and yeah, and we hit it off. I think that me and Jay play together really naturally, and then Johnny joined. Jay found him on Facebook. He plays keys, and then we found Morrow, guitar, backing vocals, and then yeah, we had maybe even like 6 songs done without lyrics by the time that Kyle joined.
So intentionally at the beginning, was vocals in the plan for eventually sort of like being worked into it? Because I get a lot of like, and don't take this in the wrong way, but I get a lot of like Tame Impala vibes sometimes listening to you guys.
Yeah.
There's this psych rock element, but it also has sort of like a driving hooks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think we knew that was the direction the vocals were going to go in. We always knew that we wanted vocals, and we were even leaving space in some songs like Indigo. There's sort of a middle section of Indigo that is a little more chill, and I remember us playing and writing that and being like, we're going to kind of like leave a space here for there to be vocals. So there was always vocals in mind, even when we were just like writing and playing instrumental, but
we didn't really have a direction for them. Like we weren't like, this is gonna be a psych rock song. We were just like, let's play something that sounds good and whatever the singer. And actually, you mentioned Tame Impala. I remember when I first heard Kyle's take on Indigo, I'm like, this kind of sounds like Tame Impala. I love it. So
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think we were open to we wanted to just find a good singer that was a good fit, and hopefully played guitar or something else that they could bring. And
which he does. He plays guitar.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Nice. Is he featured on any of the tracks coming up? Or?
No, so that's one of the things on our release album. He doesn't play guitar on any tracks.
He does live though, with High Tide and stuff.
Oh right, yeah. So High Tide he does.
Okay.
But
that one's been released as a single very recently, right?
Yeah, that was our most recent single.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of our only songs from the first album that have 2 guitars on them, I think. Or is it the only one?
I think so.
And then all of our new songs, we have like 5 new songs that are done and some more that we're working on that we play live and stuff. And Kyle plays guitar on all of those. So once we kind of like got through the initial phase of getting the songs finished, everything we started after that with Kyle, he plays guitar on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that'll be like one of the main like differences from like first to second album.
Cool. You say first album, you mean there's something else out there other than these 3 singles that you have?
No, first album is the one we're releasing next month. So we're already thinking of the second album because we had those songs done for like, I don't know, a semester already or something like that.
Yeah, we're built a little around
yeah
Kyle's contributions and stuff.
Yeah, we had some songs that were going to the first album, but we were just like, we have to record the whole thing. We already have other new songs we're working on, so I think this album we just wanted to get out because we took so long from recording a year ago to actual release. We kind of set the date too because we were desperate to just get it out so we can focus on the new material that, in my opinion, it's different from our first album, but I think it's a little more cohesive, I guess, because we've all been in the room when writing the songs.
Yeah. Yeah, the first album, I really like the songs. I'm proud of the songs for sure, but we did write most of them without Kyle. Some of the songs like came from like either old bands, things that we hadn't like really fully finished, or things that we wanted to like bring to the group. So like I had a song that was ready, Johnny had a song that was ready, Morrow had a song that was ready, and so we kind of like brought in these songs and like learned them and like put all of our instruments on them and everything and recorded those. And so only a few of them are really like all of us sitting there writing them. Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting mix. You'll hear when it comes out. It's very like it sounds like us, and I think like there are things that like bring it that like make it all cohesive in a way. But it also, from song to song, there's a lot of like experimentation happening and a lot of like.
It's not like one genre of an album.
Gotcha.
A lot of different voices like behind the songs.
That's exciting. You guys mentioned a little bit listening to King Gizzard, obviously the Tame Impala reference. Have you guys sort of settled on who you would dream about opening for? I like asking this question. I feel like Babe Rainbow also kind of.
We
We
tried to-
actually email them. We're like,
Nice.
Yeah, we tried to open for Babe Rainbow.
Yeah, I could see it. I
Yeah.
could absolutely see it.
they're
Give it
missing
another
out.
like year or two. They'll be back.
Yeah.
They'll be back. They always come back.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it there. I think like King Gizzard, Tame Impala, like Radiohead, The Strokes,
The Beatles.
The Beatles. Yeah,
Of course,
we
yeah.
could open for Paul McCartney.
Yeah, Led
And
Zeppelin,
Ringo.
The Who. Yeah, I'm glad that I have situated myself around it. Pretty much what it is that you guys are shooting for. I feel like it's very consistent sort of presentation. One question that I do have is, where did the name Sour Magic come from?
So it originally, the way we heard it was in Diablo 2. We were hanging out doing a writing session at Jay's house. Like, back
Yeah.
in the day, we used to just like 2, 3, 4 of us would just be at Jay's house, and like one person would be playing video games and one person would be in the corner like on GarageBand, like recording the part or whatever, when we were like making a demo that never came out. And yeah, I was playing Diablo 2, and it was like a vocal, or it was like a text line.
What class were you playing?
Amazon, like Bo Amazon.
Classic.
And yeah, it was like a voice line from a vendor.
I knew we'd eventually start talking about video games during this interview, but it just snuck in faster than I could have possibly imagined, with it literally being the name of the band.
Yeah.
So there was like an item in like at work or something with like, was it like a offhand necromancer?
I think it was like a potion vendor, and he was like, come and like check out my sour magics or something like that.
Huh.
Or I can't remember the exact line, but I think Jay just heard it. We were sitting there and we've been like thinking of a name. We were thinking Indigo actually came. We were thinking like a name with Indigo. We were thinking like Moon Groove was an idea, and we were tossing around names and like couldn't figure anything out. And Jay just hears it and he's like, "Dude, that's it, Sour Magic." And I think we connect with both parts. I think like the sour part kind of like describes like sort of the complexity. I think most of our songs, we have this mix of like sad lyrics and like upbeat instruments.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
almost all of our
Quintessential.
songs have that. And so it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're not really. That's kind of makes me think of sour. It's kind of like sweet and like bitter. And then also I don't want to talk over Mara the whole time, but we like the magic part too. It all fits.
Yeah, I've said before that it's. I was high. Because we all come from different cities, and it's like kind of interesting and serendipitous that we all met in Denver and made a band, and now we're putting an album out, and I think that there's something. This is cheesy as fuck, but there's something magical about destiny kind of bringing us together from such different like places in the world, and crafting the music, and I think that's magical in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely on my own doing some like manifestation to get this band together. So
It worked.
yeah, it worked. I did manifestation to find Jay, Morrow, and Kyle. I think Johnny just came along himself. we didn't need any extra help to find him.
He's the keyboardist.
Yeah.
That's great. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people's musical journeys in general have sort of a divine aura about them, in respect to the fact that like it's always more about the journey than it is about
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what the next possible most important destination is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was, there were times when we were recording the album, we recorded the whole album with Dan from Moonlight Bloom. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're a Denver band.
No, but I'm wearing a shirt that says Midnight Strange on it, and I feel like that has a very similar.
Yeah.
You
Very
also
similar
said
vibe.
cadence.
You also said Moon Groove.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's too close to Moonlight Bloom.
Moon Groove was like, that was I was like pushing for Moon Groove. No one
cool
take
name.
that.
Future
We'll release
Kid.
a song called Moon Groove so no one can take it.
Yeah. But yeah, we recorded the whole thing with Dan from Moonlight Bloom, and I just remember like all of us like sitting there with him, being like, it's crazy how, yeah, like Mara said, we all came from like different parts of the country or different parts of the world. Mara's from Venezuela. I don't know if he didn't get to mention that.
We were going to start getting into people's origin stories shortly, but that's exciting because I'm also from Venezuela,
Whoa.
Cool. Where from?
Caracas.
Me too.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, that's right. Cool.
But so I guess we'll just jump right into it. You're from Venezuela. How long have you been in the States?
I moved to the U.S. I lived in Florida. Well, 2014, I moved out of Venezuela to Florida.
Miami.
And Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Pembroke
It's
Pines
Miami.
specifically.
Basically, Miami
Super boring.
plus.
That's why I say Pembroke Pines, because if
Yeah.
I said Miami, people would be like, "Oh, cool." No, it was
That's
not cool.
that's where I lived for a long time. So
In Miami?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, Pembroke Pines is the opposite from that.
45 minutes away.
I lived in like
get all the
an
cool
old, like a retirement community with my grandpa. So yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was
That's
like
all that's up there.
yeah. But then I moved over to Tampa, and I finished my education there, and then I got a job there. Pandemic hit, and I'm like, now that I'm working remotely, I'm just gonna move to Denver and not tell anybody at work, and that's what happened. And I moved to Denver, and whenever
Genius.
whenever everything started opening back up, they didn't care where I was because we were so used to it. So that's how I met these guys.
I'm glad that worked out for you.
Me too.
And how long have you been in Colorado?
2 years, I think.
I don't know when you moved here.
Yeah, because I met you guys in 2021.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
I
think
moved
you're
April
pretty-
2021.
Yeah, you're pretty new here when we
Yeah.
met you. Yeah.
How about you, Drew? Where are you from?
I'm from Kansas City.
Wow.
I moved here in 2019, so I got a little bit of time. I got to go see like Frankie and the Witch Fingers and Kikagaku Moyo and a bunch of cool bands in Denver before the pandemic started.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they were back pretty recently too. Kikagaku.
Kikagaku, yeah, that was their like farewell tour.
Yeah.
That was so. I went to that show. That was so beautiful, and they were crying on stage. Everyone was like, just like cheering for them
Oh,
forever,
yeah.
and then they were crying, and like I was crying.
That's so sweet.
I know, it was like it's one of those things where it's like, why are you like they're an incredible band. They're so amazing.
So why are you doing this?
Yeah,
to
why
us?
are you doing this to us? Just stay together.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the reasons sometimes. You know.
Yeah, I suspected they kind of feel like they did what they set out to accomplish.
Yeah, some bands have like a story arc, you know, and once it's done, it's done. So, you guys sent me a couple of master tracks off of the new album,
Mm-hmm.
and got them here. I was wondering if you'd like for us to play some for anybody
Sure.
who's listening, and we can.
This is an exclusive, by the way. No one has ever heard this.
I'm gonna delete it right after.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you do Fenrir's Folly Master, and or do you want to do? I was kind of imagining we would do maybe like half of each song. Do you want to do that, or would you prefer to do the whole thing?
I think usually songs they want to play out,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll play it out.
I was
but
kind of
we
like
can
thinking,
always
like
stop.
give people something to crave.
Just a little tease.
But we can do the whole thing.
Your call. Let me start it off, and then wherever it is that you feel like you want to stop me, we can stop.
You think whole thing, or
You don't think people deserve it? I think they do.
you think they deserve it?
I think they want it.
What have they done? What have the people done to deserve
Do
it?
They
you
show up
think
to
you
shows,
guys deserve
buy our
it?
merch.
That's the biggest question today.
All right.
Comment if you deserve it. Be like, yes, we deserve it. Please pray.
And then come to a show and buy our
Yeah.
merch.
I'll pull up the chat in a moment. Here is Fenrir's Folly.
Yes.
Great name too. listen to Fenrir's Folly, which has a very epic, almost kind of like Nordic tradition of.
In the naming, yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel kind of epic. I think it's maybe our like most epic like adventure sounding song.
You want to tell us a little bit more about it? Do you have a reason for wanting to use Norse mythology in your tunes?
Good question. I don't know.
A lot of our stuff just comes together very organically. Like a lot of our songs were named before they're even done, or like before the lyrics are done. And it's kind of like we'll have like working names for things, and if it ends up being different, we'll change the name. But a lot of times, like the song builds around the name, just like I don't know, like it just
Sure.
weirdly happens like that.
Words have a lot of power, you know. That's
Yeah.
why lyrics are so important to songs, and why it is that naming a song can be really difficult. Sometimes people, and this is part of the questions that I usually ask, is process. And like, sometimes people start with a bass line, sometimes people start with a chord chart, sometimes people start with a name, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a very unique place to come from because it's evocative.
Yeah.
It forces you to kind of think about it from an evocative standpoint.
Yeah, we that song started with me, Jay, our drummer, and Johnny, our key player, just playing and jamming. I think that was one of the first songs we wrote that no one brought anything. No one was like, here's like a riff that I have from just working on my own. I think that was like one of our first jams that turned into a song. And we had like finished the instrumentals, and I don't think it had a name, and then we shot a little silly music video for it to like launch our Instagram. If you go on our Instagram and go way back to the very first post, it's a music video for that song with just keys, bass, drums, no guitar, no vocals. And it's like Jay was like wearing like a wolf costume. He was wearing like a wolf like mask with a cape, and then he's like running around like his neighborhood, and Johnny's like a photographer, and he was like videoing him, and we did some green screen stuff. And
Fenrir, of course, being the mythological wolf.
exactly.
Right.
And so I think that it just like happened that Jay had a wolf mask and was in this video, and he is like, he looked in the video, he's like trying to like sneak up on Johnny, or he's trying to sneak up on himself actually, which is kind of funny. But
Ooh, very meta.
yeah, he's trying to like get himself, and he's like failing at it, and he's just kind of just like hapless, like this like dead god that has like very little influence and is like trying to like influence something but can't. And so it's Fenrir's Folly. It's like Fenrir trying to like exert itself but like not being able to come through and like have an effect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all
that's a
just
very,
off the fact that he had a wolf mask. Like that's literally like how the song got named.
It's a very poetic sort of approach. I love tunes that sort of take stories that are sort of in the common culture or perhaps in a other culture and
Yeah.
turn them into, here's our take on like, you know, the myth of Sisyphus, or like the myth of like any other like Norse god. Like Loki has a lot of stuff, like Ragnarok.
Right.
I mean, the number of metal bands that have written a song about Ragnarok are probably uncountable. at
We
this
might be
point.
one of the first psych rock bands to write a song about Fenrir, so.
Yeah, and in that sense, it feels pretty unique. It's not one that I've heard of before, but
And I think it fits our theme too, because like it's and I don't know if the lyrics exactly line up with this, but yeah, just the idea of like Fenrir being like a god that's like an element of nature, like trying to like have an influence on the world, but being kind of like ignored or like beaten down.
yeah,
It kind of like represents how like humans are like taking advantage of nature and like sort of ignoring the signals that we're being given about like how we should behave in the world. We're kind of just ignoring it, and the gods are, you know, fruitlessly like trying to make a difference, but it's like, but yeah, we're just not paying attention. That's kind of the idea.
So that's what Fenrir is about?
That's what the video I think is about, and the idea of Fenrir's.
Okay. No,
Honest,
that's cool. I
honestly,
like
the lyrics of Fenrir's, you'd have to ask Kyle. And
no,
I think
that's really cool how deep you can go and like, you know, really studying the intention of a song.
Uh-huh.
Cause yeah, when I hear offenders, I get nothing of that. So it's interesting, like the origin story.
Yeah, I'd say that's the origin story, and then everything evolves and becomes its own thing.
Yeah.
Especially when a song was started by the sort of the original group of instrumentalists, and then finished by a vocalist. It's like he kind of takes his own take on what we already had. You know.
Yeah. You know, a lot of times I see this a lot on the sofa where bands will come and they'll be talking about a song that they've played before and worked on, and people will discover things about the song
While they're
as
talking about
other
it?
people are talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that you wrote lyrics about that for that reason, or what those lyrics exactly were and stuff like that. And I love seeing it because I feel like it's part of what it is that I'm trying to facilitate, is getting the glue between musicians to harden, strengthen into a, I don't know, something. But it's really cool to see that you guys are taking in some poetic kind of influences into what it is that you're writing about, because so often there's songs about, like, you know, love or relationships.
Well, I mean, we have plenty of songs about love and relationships.
Everybody
so-
does, you know. It's part of life. You end up writing songs about things that affect you emotionally, and you can't really escape this life without having some emotional connection with people and relationships. But it's fun to kind of take some spins on it and throw out some tunes that have a uniqueness to them. So congrats
Yeah,
on that.
Thanks. One thing I've noticed with our songs is, like, if you were to compare them from the moment of their inception with the outcome, they're usually, you know, they retain the same, like, I guess, like, aesthetic or idea, but they end up being completely different. Like, we've had so far, like, 3 summer songs that end up being renamed, and they sound completely different from one another. But that's how they start. We call it summer song, and it's like, oh, it sounds cool. Like, I'm thinking of Means to an End, our second single. That was literally a jam that we came up with while we were practicing. And one day I think we were at your house. We were like, all right, let's actually write this song. And I think we wrote it. Kyle, like, sang some lyrics. We were like, whoa, I don't know if he already had them or what, but yeah, it just turned into a completely different song, even though it was the same song. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll have like a riff. We'll have like a verse and a chorus on something, or a verse and like a bridge, and we'll call it summer song, and be like, oh, this is gonna be like the hit of the summer or whatever. And then once everyone comes in and finishes it, it's like, oh, this is actually like a song about heartbreak that feels more like fall. Like, things are dying. Like, things are heading towards winter. Like, a relationship is ending, and so just like one person's take on it will completely change it.
We also have a song about the seasons.
Yeah, we have a song called Seasons that'll be on the album.
Nice.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys have a very flexible sort of writing process. You guys come with
Definitely.
ideas
I think so, yeah.
and just kind of allow it to grow. That's remarkable, because, you know, it takes a lot of collaboration and a lot of trust in the other people in the band to feel like, I believe in what your interpretation of this is, and we should work with that. So it's nice to see that level of collaboration.
One rule that we kind of established is, like, if someone has an idea on a change or doing something different, even if you don't like the idea of it, we have to try it. And then after we try it, we can all, like, say what we thought of it. But I think that it's very limiting to, you know, if you have an idea and people are like, no, that doesn't sound that great, and then you never try it, and it's like, well, that could have made the whole difference to the song, and you kind of missed out. But if you play it and you don't like it, then it's like, okay, that's fair, I didn't love it either. Or it's like, but we try to make it democratic.
That's
Right, for the
sensible.
most part.
Yeah, the goal is always just having making the song the best it can be, and like, and I think we're pretty good about, like, not getting our feelings hurt on, like, if one of us has a specific idea for a song or to change something up or whatever it is, and we go with something else. I think, like, historically we've been pretty good about we have, like, a very intuitive process, I think, and I think when we play it, we go like, okay, yeah, that works, that sounds good, that was an improvement, or like, actually, never mind, let's keep doing it the same way. and our songs come about all different ways. Like, I know like, we definitely don't have a process where it's like one person is like leading anything. It's like Morrow a lot of times will bring like a verse and a chorus, or me and Jay will start a song together. The Jay, our drummer,
Yeah.
me and him will start something just like the two of us, and then we'll add someone on. Or Kyle will start something on his own and bring it in. Or like, yeah, Johnny and Jay will do something. Like, it's all different mixtures of like the groups
Yeah.
that like make up how we start our songs. It could come from anyone or any mixture of people.
Excellent.
And I love it being
Yeah.
that way, honestly. I would, if it was like one person being like, okay, everyone do this. Like,
Yeah, and
I
you gotta
wouldn't
do this.
I wouldn't be in the band.
Yeah.
Like, I love that we do it the way that we do.
And just to reiterate, for anybody that's listening right now, you play bass
I play bass.
and you play guitar.
Yes.
Very nice. Did you guys start on those instruments? What was your first instrument that you ever played?
Yeah, I started playing guitar. My dad and my sister played like Spanish guitar, like classical guitar.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, so I started playing that, Beatles songs, Green Day songs.
Yeah, Mara knows like every like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green Day, Nirvana, anything that was like big in the 90s.
Yeah.
He knows like every single song on guitar, and it blows my mind.
I'm gonna have to show you something after the episode.
Sounds good.
And
Yeah.
so, and our drummer Jay does too. So like, we'll be in practice, and anytime there's like downtime or we're just chilling, it's just like a full Green Day cover will just like be played. And
One time we played Jesus of Suburbia. That's what
Yeah.
it's called.
Yeah.
It's like a 9-minute song. We just started fucking around and we just like kept playing the whole song.
played all of it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to hear as like a psych rock tribute to that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
90s punk and pop. Drew, how'd you start playing instruments?
I started playing guitar when I was like 14. I got a guitar for Christmas, and I never got any lessons. I was like printing out My Chemical Romance tabs, like trying to learn My Chemical Romance songs on guitar.
Classic.
Yeah, classic, except for I like just like couldn't do it. I was like, this is not. I didn't have the right tone. I didn't know what I was doing. No lessons. And then I just put it up. I was like, okay, I don't know. This isn't really connecting for me. And then the year after I graduated college, I moved into a house where there was a band, and we had like a drum set, a bass, a guitar, everything in the living room. And
Scooter demanding attention.
demanding attention.
He's definitely in the frame now, by the way.
And so, yeah, I started playing bass when I was like 21, like right after I graduated college. I just lived with this band, and I started playing bass, and I kind of connected with the rhythm and the basics of it like instantly with like almost no direction.
Yeah.
And I just started working with the guy who lived there that played bass and guitar, and he just like showed me how to do stuff, and yeah, it just really made sense to me. And so that was like around like 7 years ago, something like that. And I've just been playing bass ever since.
One thing you're really good at that I've noticed is like keeping rhythm.
Well, yeah, I think like keeping
Finger
rhythm.
style? No.
Finger, yeah, I never
Okay.
use a pick.
Cool.
But yeah, just like naturally playing with the drums. I think that like if I'm like good at anything or like natural at anything, is just playing with the drums and staying on rhythm, and then
Yeah.
everything else I've just been learning the whole time. And I feel I'm
That's
always
the most fundamental part about playing the bass is being in the pocket.
yeah.
You have to make people feel that you and the bass are one unit, or
Yeah.
it all falls apart so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And doing that is just a matter of feel and experience and time and playing with the drummer.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
really
big
felt
part.
like it's like I knew how to do that immediately, and I've been learning fills. Is like kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like it's like 7 years of learning how to write and play fills.
That's very it's very much kind of similar to the drums in that way, where like you gotta figure out the groove, you gotta know exactly where you fall
Mhm.
with the rest of the band, and then eventually you just start breaking out doing some crazy little
Yeah.
licks and stuff.
Yeah, I play drums a little bit. He plays drums better than me. I play a little bit, and it's always like, yeah, I can keep a rhythm and play a basic beat, and it's time for the fill, and I just panic almost. I'm like snare, cymbal, snare. Okay, and back to the beat.
Yep. By the way, for anybody that's tuned into the audience or tuned into the episode right now, the audience, we have a little chat monitor that I'm keeping an eye on. So if you guys have any questions for these lovely gentlemen of Sour Magic, I will relay the questions over to them. And just type them in the chat or give them some words and emojis of encouragement, which have been pouring in.
Yeah, I couldn't
Pouring in over
get
here.
by without my emojis of encouragement.
Yeah.
That's what sustains me.
We've got clap, clap, heart. We've got 2 hands in the air. You know, like this one.
I use that one a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Even though it doesn't mean anything, it's like we all kind of know that it's encouraging.
I feel like we all know
It's
what
like-
it means. You see those hands up, and it makes you feel good.
It's like the replacement of because the smiling emoji. It's like it's not the same as it used to be like 10, 15 years ago. Now I feel like if you use it, it's like there's a connotation there,
Yeah.
Whereas when you use these, it's like you're just being friendly, even though this doesn't mean anything. You're just being cool.
I normally use the small, subtle smiley after I've said something really rude. So,
In my eyes, I feel like this.
It has changed.
This means let's go.
right.
That's what I hear in my head when I see that. So you guys have some plans for the summer. We're releasing an album,
Yeah.
but you guys are also going to be playing some shows.
Yeah, festivals and shows.
Let's talk a little bit about what you guys have on your plate for the next couple months.
Yeah, you're gonna have to help me out because I suck with dates.
With
but,
dates.
We have our release show. Oh no, our next show is actually what is it today? Saturday, Monday. We have Skylark Lounge. We're gonna be performing at the 303.
1023.
You sure it's not 303?
Indie 102.3?
Yeah, we're doing Indie 102.3's monthly meetup at Skylark
Nice.
on Monday.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I love Skylar.
I've got
Are you
all
guys
that-
downstairs or at the Bobcat?
Upstairs,
Nice.
Bobcat. Yeah, I've never been up there.
Either.
Oh, it's great.
Cool.
You guys are gonna enjoy it. The sound is really good too.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard a little bit about what goes on in those type of events, so we're excited to check it out.
Mhm.
Other than that, we have our album release show, which is June 14th,
16th.
16th.
Yeah. Our album's coming out on June 16th, Forbidden Fruit, and we're playing the album release show at Lost Lake with the Crooked Rugs. Have you listened to
Oh
them?
yeah.
The
Those
Crooked
guys
Rugs.
are sick.
Yeah, they're like Colorado legends at this point.
Yeah, they're from Fuco though, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So they're
So-
driving down.
Yep. So it's our album release show, but we're like co-headlining with Crooked Rugs.
Yeah.
They're having like a nice long set, and then we have Fly Amanita and Charm, who are both Denver bands.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's a stacked lineup.
Yeah, it's a
Stoked
great
for you
lineup.
guys.
At like Lost Lake on June 16th, and I would.
Is that
yeah.
a Friday?
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Yeah.
Thank God.
That's the one we really want to
Yeah.
get everyone out to for sure, and it's a great lineup just to come see all of us and just we're gonna play the album straight through, and then probably a couple new songs, and then pass it on to Crooked Rugs.
You see the Fly Amanita open for Dumbo Gets Mad?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Fly Amanita, they're good. They have a cool like indie surf sound, and they opened for Dumbo Gets Mad like a couple weeks ago.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
And then Charm is the front person of Dry Ice. I don't know if you've listened to them, but Dry Ice is very cool.
Yeah, you guys actually, the reason I found out about you guys, apart from just kind of following every single band that exists in the local scene,
Yeah.
is that you posted about a Spotify playlist of a roundup
Mhm.
for the psych and
That was
indie
you.
community in Denver.
Yeah, I like manage or curate that playlist or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
that was very helpful.
yeah, I think
Thank
it
you.
is.
Cool.
It's a ginormous playlist. Like it's not like here's like 10 songs that you should check out. It's like here's
Yeah.
like 5 songs from like every band you should check out. So it's a big old playlist, but I still reference I love that playlist and I listen to it and I still reference it. Like when I'm like, who should we book for this show? I also do like most of the show bookings. I'll be like, who should we book for this show? I'll check out the playlist and kind of just like go through and be like, who's hitting me today?
Yeah,
And yeah, so I still use it for that. And yeah, Dry Ice is on there, and they're great. They're really fun.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check them out. the next show after your album release, you have that planned?
Yeah, we're playing at Sykes Peak. Are you familiar with that?
It's like a little mini festival kind of thing.
Yeah, it's 2 days now. It used to just be 1 day,
Nice.
but it's 2 days now. It's all DIY. It's out in Canyon City, and it's like 2 stages, 2 days, a bunch of bands. I want to say like 20 bands, all like psych rock bands from Colorado.
This is the biggest one they've had.
Yeah. They have people come out from like Chicago and Kansas City. There's this band called The Moose from Kansas City that comes out and plays. And yeah, so we played that last year when we were probably like way too small we just kind of got lucky to be asked to come.
We didn't have music out.
We didn't have any songs out. I had like met the guys in Plume who put on the festival, and like I went to the festival the prior year and they asked us to come out, and we like literally released our first single like the day of the festival. And so,
Which was silly because no one had Wi-Fi there, so we're like, yeah, we just released our album, and people couldn't go check it out. Or no,
Brutal.
album, single.
yeah, just go check it out when you get home.
So it was an all psych rock festival.
Yeah, and it's on July 14th and 15th this year in Canyon City. It's on, I think, previously it's been on public land, like in the Pikes Peak Valley, like the National Forest. It's on private land this year, I believe. But yeah, it's just a great, like, festival that showcases all of like the best psych rock bands in Kansas in Colorado. I'm from Kansas.
I get that, and
And they were playing Endless Fest in Fort Collins, which is another like local kind of like psych rock festival.
nice.
More kind of like South by Southwest, like going in between venues and bars and stuff.
With these psych rock festivals, sometimes I wonder how many guitar pedals are on the stage at any given time.
Hundreds.
It's at least hundreds. Like you guys could build like a tower out of the guitar pedals that
Yeah.
people show up with.
It rained
It'd be a
last
very
year and it was
expensive tower.
scary. Like it was like with how many pedals and
Yeah,
equipment everyone has.
yeah. Terrifying.
Yeah, it was. Hopefully, it doesn't rain this year. It rained last year. Do you know Shadow Work?
Yes.
Shadow Work was playing, and they were playing the cover by Radiohead. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like he's like singing. He's like, "Rain, bring the rain" or whatever. And the song it literally just starts like storming and raining like while he's
Brutal.
singing.
Wow.
And then it's like, just like a mad dash to get the tents and cover the stage and everything. But
Yeah, it was really cool to see because everyone in the audience, plus the people working at the festival, we were all trying to figure out how we were gonna keep the bands like
yeah.
undercover from the rain.
Well, yeah, it's like it sounds great and it's a great festival and there's camping, but it is like DIY and it's like
Yeah.
it literally is like audience participation. Like it's raining, like everyone is like gonna help.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna like try to keep the show going and
Pull
protect
up
the
the tarp.
equipment. And
Yeah.
it was cool.
Hey, that's the best kind of sense of community that you can have around some of these
Yeah, for
events.
sure.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So I have two real remaining questions for you guys. We have 10 minutes left in the episode, by the way.
Okay.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it went by fast.
Yeah. One, would you like to play another tune off the album? I still have the other masters.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, I wanted to probe your minds a little bit about your affiliation and your perspective on the music scene in Denver and in Colorado in general. Being that you guys are Denver based and have now made connections with some of the other bands, just what it is that you see that is the biggest challenges that the scene is facing, what it is that you really appreciate about the other people that are around in the scene, and just any, shout outs to other bands and stuff of that nature
Mhm.
that you might want to throw on there.
Well, you probably have a lot to say, so I'll start. I would say one thing that I've noticed, granted, this is my first serious band that I've been in the U.S., the one in Tampa didn't count. But like first off, he's a social butterfly, so he knows everybody. He met Dan from Moonlight Bloom. Shout out to Moonlight Bloom, check them out, they're amazing.
They're out. They have an album release show
Oh, yeah,
on
that's right.
June 9th, right after the King Gizzard shows. They're
Ooh.
playing. They're playing at Globe Hall with
It's
Plume,
amazing lineup.
Los Toms. I forget who all is there, but they're playing with Plume's
Oh,
Los Toms for sure.
We play with them in Greeley.
Lounge
Yeah, Lounge Drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Moonlight Bloom, shout out to them, and their album releases on June 9th. And
Yeah.
yeah, I met them early on when I was here. I met them at the Kikagaku Moyo show in 2019 actually. And we just we've kind of kept in contact ever since. I kept seeing them at shows, and we recorded our whole album with them. And
That's what I was gonna say. They invited us to play with them on our first show. Our first show was a Larimer Lounge, of all places, with Tarantula Bill. And then I think from that show, it's probably why we got invited to the first Psych Speak, because that was all before we even had music out. Dan was super, helpful with like helping us record, and he didn't really charge us. We kind of fell in debt with him, so we kept bringing him whiskey and weed.
Classic compensation.
Yeah, you
Classic
can't go
form.
wrong
We
with that.
paid him also.
We did pay him, yeah, a little bit, but not as much as he deserved, to be fair.
Probably, yeah.
And in general, I feel like with the other bands that we played with, everybody's very. I don't know. Even if you have different sounds, it's like people are really cool with one another, and we kind of all understand that we're like on the same journey of like making music together, and we don't like step on each other's toes, but we just like lift each other up and try to help one another. Or like we always like, I think this is how we, I don't know if all bands, but how we operate is like we usually book our shows by DMing people, like DMing other bands, and they're usually super receptive, and if they can do it, they'll always be like, let's definitely get something together because we'd love to play with you. So that is really like, everybody's super inviting, super collaborative, even like outside of Denver. We're really good friends with Robot Tennis Club. They're a great band from Fort Collins. We played with them a couple times.
Yeah, I would say that's like the overall impression I've got. Also, is there's this, especially with like the DIY festivals like Sykes Peak and Endless. There's this feeling of like a rising tide, like lifts all ships kind of vibe. It's not like, oh well, I don't want to promote this other band. I don't want to promote the Crooked Rugs because that's gonna like take away from us.
Yeah.
It's like there's this attitude of like if we work together and we grow the scene, like everyone benefits.
Yeah.
And we like all want to come up together and make Denver like a special place for like psych rock and indie rock music.
Yeah, it feels especially after, the big indent, big panini, sometimes I call it on here.
The Big P.
The big P. That collaboration and sort of mutual assistance and mutual sort of booking and communication has really taken root in the scene, and it's so nice to see, because I agree, the more people work together, the more venues will notice how collaborative people are about it, and how many people they bring in, and just in general what the vibe is for booking people and having a good time at any given time.
Well, yeah, we all got to work together to stand up to the jam bands and EDM. So we're coming for you.
Yeah, yeah. Let's book some mission shows. Good. Well, that's I'm glad you guys see that. Now, I'm seeing that a lot too, and it really makes me happy to see that the scene is supporting itself.
There's a Boulder band called Unicorn Hits. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but Joe from Unicorn Hits is like one of the biggest like community people, like just supporting everyone and I'm like promoting other people's bands, and we try to do that when our friends put out music. We try to always promote it or promote their like big shows and stuff, and yeah, I think that we have like a very collaborative attitude. I know I especially have that. Like I crowdsource and like collaborate with like most things I work on, and yeah, so I just really appreciate that the scene has that sort of attitude as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge. The other side of that question, if you guys feel like tackling this part of it, is what do you think some of the biggest challenges going forward are for the music scene? How it is that we can get more people to come see local shows, how it is that we can get venues to take local bands more seriously, stuff of that nature. Being a musician, as we've already mentioned, is a hard road. Doing your own promotion, doing your own graphic design, and the rest of it is just not really part of the whole like I'm trying to play an instrument sort of vibe.
Right.
So like
Everyone has to do everything now. Like
Yeah.
I have friends that do like Reiki and ASMR, and they have to do everything. They have to like be lighting specialists, sound specialists. They gotta like
Marketing.
book people, market, and we're the same way. He's a graphic designer. That's his profession, and so he did our logo and he does like our posters and stuff.
I was gonna ask who did your logo.
Yeah, he did.
Great job.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, we got
Whenever I
some.
see the sticker, I'm just like,
We got some stickers. We can give you a couple.
sick. I will trade.
But and then yeah, I do a lot of the like booking and marketing and stuff,
Social
and
media.
social media, and it's kind of yeah, you have to do everything now. I think like that's one thing that bothers me is like when you book shows with a venue and they expect you to do everything.
Right.
It's like I don't know that it used to work like this. I think when you would book a show, you probably had a manager and a record label and blah blah blah.
Right.
But like if you're working with like a pretty big venue, it feels like they should have a team. They should have marketing people. They should
Yeah.
have design people, and they should do like a lot of that like for or with the bands. And I think yeah, this expectation has like. But at the same time, we're so picky. I think if like a venue made one of our posters, we might be like,
Yeah.
we'll do it. To be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a challenge sometimes to find a venue that's actually capable of supporting you guys in your endeavors in coming on to play music at their place.
It's so
in
nice
an effective
when
way, and you'd
when-
think that that's something that even like the bigger theaters would do.
Mhm.
But the posters that I showed you guys a little while ago, not gonna mention any names, but those were all done by us, and that was at the Fox, which is a pretty significant venue, and they did
Mhm.
print some out and do a bunch of stuff with them, but
Well, yeah, and it's like when we
Why?
print them out, like literally, we print the posters. I like skateboard around town. Morrow bikes around town. We hang the posters ourselves.
yeah.
I would say that yeah, it's like this like culture of putting everything on the band, and then also we sell our own tickets. Like there's a lot of venues in Denver where you book with them and they're like they expect you to sell your own tickets
Yeah.
and like not use their website, like sell them like consignment tickets,
Yeah.
and those can be a pain too. Like you're asking like strangers to reach out to you and Venmo you and like
Yeah.
message you, and it's like they might not want to do that. They might not want to like message this band and Venmo them. They don't know them. They're just trying to come to a show. And so that would be probably my main complaint is just how it's kind of shifted to like the venue hosts the show and the band does everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
That's like one thing that I don't know if this comment is gonna have repercussions for us in the future.
Don't call anyone out.
But I've had this thought and I'm a little disgusted by it.
Scandal.
It's like a part of the industry that I don't like. It's like when we book a show in a theater, the theater will be expecting us to sell like tickets, and it's like sure, fine, but then it ends up feeling like they're just giving us a space for us to play and sell tickets to our friends or people that like our music so they can sell alcohol, and that's
And they'll take a cut of the merch.
yeah, exactly. Like we play, I'm not gonna name drop, but we played a venue that I don't want to play anymore, that we like picked, someone dropped in the lineup and they called us and we're like, sure, we'll play, whatever.
And like
they-
last minute, like 1 or
Yeah.
2 days before.
so we didn't sell any tickets, obviously, because we weren't in the bill originally.
Yeah.
They didn't pay us shit, and I'm like, well, that's really unfair, and I'm not gonna play there anymore.
Yeah. That's valid.
Your mom's house.
Yep.
They deserve it.
I'm familiar with them. Let me just say that it's been a pleasure having you both on.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so much
you.
for being here. I am stoked to come see your album release show at Lost Lake,
Heck
June
yes.
12th,
16th.
16th,
I get it wrong too. Don't
Friday.
worry.
It's hard keeping all the dates straight. June 16th,
And
Friday.
then July 14th. That's why I get confused. That sucks.
That's my brother's birthday. I'll be there, and
Awesome.
Crooked Rugs will be there, and you guys will be going on second.
Third or
'Cause there's
fourth.
4.
We haven't decided. We haven't. I don't know if we've nailed it out for sure. I was setting up like we were gonna go third, and then Crooked Rugs we're gonna co-headline after us. But it could be that we're fourth. We don't know for sure, but we'll be third or fourth that night.
Got it. And I want to give you guys the opportunity to put out any shout outs or energy that you want to say. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Edamame Girl.
I'm not sure who
I
that
don't know
is.
that.
Not sure who that is either, but that's a funny name.
Hey, edamames are great, so
Edamame Girl.
That's a good name.
Be my edamame.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Dan from Moonlight Bloom. I feel like he was the first person to ever believe in us.
We owe everything to Dan. He feels like my bass like bass master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your guru.
My bass guru.
Yeah, Moonlight
Shout
Bloom.
out to Plume for
Plume.
putting on Sykes Peak, Los Toms for putting on Endless Fest, Robot Tennis Club for being awesome and playing with us all the time.
Alicia from 102.3.
Heck yeah.
Yard Art and Riding Carpets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yard
Yard
Art
Art.
We didn't
will
talk
be
about
on
the-
soon.
Yard Art's on soon?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We
They're
didn't
awesome.
talk about the
June.
vinyl.
Oh, shoot. We'll tell you.
You guys printed vinyl?
So we worked with Yard Art to put together a compilation vinyl. It's called High Plains Psych Exchange.
Sick.
I think there's still copies at Wax Tracks in Denver, and I think there's still copies on hand to be sold at shows.
Is it you two bands?
It's a bunch of
It's like
bands.
10
That's a bunch
bands.
of
It's like Crooked Rugs, Los Toms, Plume,
Nice.
Yard Art, Welcome Back,
Welcome
Unicorn
Back,
Hits,
Shadow Work.
It's
Nice.
like 10 like awesome bands from Colorado. We put them all on this compilation vinyl, and all the profits for it are going to like a mental health charity, like a Colorado-based mental health charity. And like I said, there's probably still copies at Wax Tracks. Otherwise, you got to catch Yard Art at a show or us at a show, and we'll probably be selling them there. We have I think we have some left. I don't know how many.
Well, I hope you still have some left for your album release show. I will be first in line.
Yeah.
I've got a nice little cubby of just local music
Oh,
now
cool.
that I've been starting to develop.
Moonlight Bloom's on there, but yeah, it's a
Nice.
great, like I said, 10 bands, 10 songs, just a great little showcase of Colorado and what we have to offer.
That I am all about that,
And
as you
so-
might imagine.
Yeah, so that one's perfect, and we share a practice space with Yard Art. We love those guys.
Yep.
We played at Wax Tracks with them a couple weeks ago.
Heck yeah. Well, I want to say thank you guys again for being on the show. This has been an absolute pleasure. Hope you've had fun. Scooter appreciates you guys for the pets. He's always grateful for the attention. This has been the Pink Sofa Hour. Next week we've got on Clementine. These two fine gentlemen are from Sour Magic. And you guys can catch them June 16th, Friday, at Lost Lake, co-headlining for their album release party with Crooked Rugs. We will be back next Saturday. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have an excellent evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.